The tale of King Murphy is not one of ancient battles or royal bloodlines, but a charming and true modern legend from the island of Ireland. It is a story that perfectly blends Irish wit, a rebellious spirit, and the profound love for a good dog. A kingdom without a king. Our story takes place in the mid-20th century on the Blasket Islands, na Blascaudaí, a small, rugged archipelago off the west coast of County Kerry, Ireland. The Great Blasket Island was home to a small, vibrant Irish-speaking Gaelic community, famous for producing renowned writers. However, by the 1950s, the population had dwindled due to emigration and the harshness of island life. The Irish government, concerned for the welfare of the remaining handful of elderly residents, made the difficult decision to evacuate the island. In 1953, the last permanent residents were relocated to the mainland. The village fell silent. Its stone houses left to the wind and the gulls. The island now stood empty, a kingdom without subjects. The rise of a new monarch. Around this time, a man named Paddy the Cope Gallagher lived on the nearby Dingle Peninsula. Paddy was a pub owner and a well-known local character. He also owned a large, beloved, and somewhat mischievous Irish wolfhound named Murphy. Irish wolfhounds are a giant breed, ancient and noble, often referred to as the gentle giants of the dog world. Murphy was no exception, but his size and appetite were becoming a problem. He had a particular fondness for bothering the local sheep, which is a very serious offense in rural Ireland. Frustrated farmers began complaining to Paddy. The solution, they insisted, was simple. The dog had to be put down. Paddy Gallagher, however, loved Murphy dearly and could not bear this idea. He needed a clever, peaceful solution. Gazing out at the empty Great Blasket Island, he had a stroke of genius. The coronation and exile Paddy loaded Murphy into his naomhog, a traditional Irish currach boat, and rowed him across the turbulent Blasket Sound to the deserted island. He released Murphy onto the shore, knowing the island was now his domain. There were no sheep to bother, plenty of rabbits and wild birds to chase, and fresh water from springs. It was a paradise for a dog. Paddy would row out regularly to bring the king his supplies of dog food, ensuring his well-being. Word of this ingenious solution spread quickly through the pubs and towns of Kerry. With characteristic Irish humor, people began to refer to the giant dog roaming the empty island as King Murphy, the monarch of all he surveyed. He was a benevolent king. His subjects were the seabirds, his castle the abandoned village, and his throne the windswept hills. For years he was the sole resident and ruler of the Great Blasket Island, the challenge to the throne king. Murphy's reign was peaceful until 1960. An Englishman, a writer and filmmaker named Michael Tyrrell, decided to do something audacious. Having heard the legend of the Dog King, he declared that he would claim the crown for Britain. In a deliberately theatrical and humorous stunt, Tyrrell landed on the island and occupied it for several days. He even went so far as to run a Union Jack up a flagpole he erected on the highest point, declaring himself the new ruler. The news of this invasion reached the mainland. The people of Dingle were not amused. Their king had been insulted. A local boatman, Seanino Cherna, took it upon himself to be the king's champion. He gathered a crew and sailed to the island to confront the usurper. What followed was not a battle, but a masterclass in Irish wit. Seanin and his men simply and politely explained to Mr. Tyrrell the facts of life on the Blaskets. They informed him that he was trespassing on King Murphy's land. They pointed out the logistical nonsense of his claim and the offense it had caused. They did not need force. They used reason, charm, and the unassailable logic that everyone knew the island belonged to the dog. Thoroughly outmaneuvered and probably realizing the absurdity of his own stunt, Michael Tyrrell conceded. He lowered the Union Jack, packed his bags, and was peacefully escorted off the island by the king's loyal retainers. King Murphy had defended his kingdom without even raising a paw. The end of a reign and a lasting legacy. King Murphy lived out his days as the beloved monarch of the Great Blasket. When he died of old age, he was buried on his island kingdom. His passing was mourned by the entire community on the mainland. His story, however, did not die. It became a cherished part of local folklore, a testament to the Irish spirit of finding a creative and peaceful solution to a problem. It symbolizes a deep connection to a unique place and the love for an animal companion. To this day, you can visit the Great Blasket Island. While the village remains a haunting ruin, the story of King Murphy is one of the first tales tour guides will tell. It is the legend of the gentle giant who was, for a time, the one true king of the Blaskets.